side. And you might know him because he is Julie's dad and Sean's dad. But I hope that you will clap for him and make him feel welcome.
Thank you very much. It's nice to be here. I'm gonna describe guitars and different instruments that are like guitars. I'm gonna try to play everything. We don't have a lot of time, so I'm gonna kind of run through a bunch of stuff really fast. So anyway, we're gonna start with what we call the bottom. And the bottom is the low boom. When we talk about low and high on instruments, we talk about pitch. So this is low pitch, boom. And high would be like that thing I was just playing. Ba-ding! So anyway, this gives you that low end that hooks up with the drums. It goes something like this. So we go. Or the things like you know that one, yeah, a lot of famous songs with the bass. So that's the bass. The bass, when drummers play, they can't really hear the guitar. So what I found, I used to play percussion in a couple of different bands, and what I found was that you can't hear the guitars. So you sort of follow the bass. The bass kind of hits you in the chest with that low boom. So that's what the drummer follows, and to me the bass kind of connects the melody instruments and the rhythm instruments like the drums and the percussion and that stuff. This is an acoustic 6-string guitar, steel string guitar. In Mrs. Story's room, you guys have a bunch of what we call Spanish or classical guitars. Those are nylon string guitars. They have a little bit of a different sound, but they're tuned the same way. Taylor Swift. A lot of girls like Taylor Swift, and she does a song that goes something like that. Recognize that? Sound familiar? That's a 6-string guitar. What do I have for a 6-string guitar? I got a bunch of songs ready for you guys. I'm not sure what to play. This is one I did last year for Mrs. Bullwinkle's class, so I'll do it again this year. This is Dynamite. I don't know if you guys know this one, but if you want to sing along, go ahead. We're not going to do the whole song because we don't really have time to do the whole song anyway. So oops. My fault, I made a mistake there. No? They're going to sing on it? How about Rudolph? You guys want to sing Rudolph? Yeah! All right, let's do a quick Rudolph over here. We'll do one whole song, maybe. You guys are going to have to help me. You guys know the whole light bulb thing, right? Yeah. I'm sure you guys know all those old parts. All right, let's do that. Ready? 1, 2, we're going to start with Rudolph, so you're going to have to help me right out. 1, 2, 3, and... This is what we call a bridge. They go, one does one's Foggy Christmas Eve. That's called a bridge. Everybody goes a little bit different spot. Sign me with that? 1, 2, 3, and... George Washington, excellent. All right, thanks for singing on that one. That guitar is what we call standard tuning. Standard tuning means it's tuned like a normal guitar. But you can tune a guitar differently. In fact, one thing I want to do, another thing you can do with the 6-string guitar, or any guitar for that matter, is put a capo on. This thing is a capo, and a capo is basically just a clamp. But what it does is two things. It makes the strings basically shorter, so it makes the notes higher pitched. I use capos a lot when I teach people to play the guitar because sometimes they can't reach the first fret. They're all stretched and they can't get their fingers in a good spot. They just can't get it. And so what I do is we shorten the neck a little bit to get them so they can kind of play it here where everything's nice and in front of them. And then as they get the feel for it, we move the capo back down or get rid of it altogether. But you also notice it for things like this song. That's actually Here Comes the Sun, but you had the right band. That's the Beatles, yep. So this is a capo, and you can change the tuning by putting a capo on it. Sometimes you can make it easier to play a song by putting the capo on there, and that way you don't have to play all those bar chords. You guys probably don't know what bar chords are, but they're hard. This guitar is tuned to a G chord. So whereas the other one doesn't make a good sound by itself without any fingers, this one is a chord by itself. And so you can get all sorts of things going with that, where you have a chord just by strumming, and so you can kind of play melody and rhythm at the same time. And you get some bluegrass or flat picking. Open G tuning, it's kind of tuned like a banjo. You get all sorts of cool stuff with that. So, I guess we don't have a lot of time, so I'm going to kind of run through these things pretty quickly. But anyway, there's all sorts of things you can do to get a different sound out of a guitar. The other thing you can do is you can plug it in. So that's kind of cool. You can do all sorts of things with an electric guitar. There's all sorts of different styles you can play. You can play jazz music. You can play rockabilly, which is things out of an electric guitar. You like jazz, like I said, or you can do rock and roll, like we're talking about the Beatles. How about? So that's what we call sort of straight rock and roll. What was I thinking about? You can put this thing on. This is what we call distortion. I recognize that. So you can add a little bit of color to it. And then you can add a little effect to what you got out Or what else? How about this is Metallica. Go, so we get all sorts of effects out of these guys too. Play chords, play solos, you can play clean, or we can play fuzzy. There's fuzzy. So that's electric guitar. And since we're short on time, I'm just going to kind of keep moving here. So let's see, what do we got next on the agenda? Okay. This guitar was left in the wash It got shrunk. This is a ukulele. Kind of a, yeah. A lot of people play ukuleles these days. Yeah, in Hawaii. Yes, Hawaii. What's that guy, Israel? He does that Somewhere Over the Rainbow? Right, yeah, hula dancing, right. So he does those. So, and actually we play it without, heck we go. Or that song, Hey Soul Sister, that's I got a ukulele. It sure goes, let's see. So ukulele is like a teeny little guitar. Nylon string, like that Spanish guitar over there. Only 4 strings, and it's got a different tuning than either of those guitars do, so we have to play things a little bit differently. But in some ways it's easy. Like that's a C chord. 1 finger, 1 string. Very convenient and small. All right. I think we're going to move to banjo next. So this is the crash course. If we have any time at the end, we'll do a couple of something or other. Yeah, you've got a very good point there. Okay. I'm gonna run with what she talked about exactly. This banjo is tuned like that guitar, what we call it. So it's tuned to a G chord, and it's got this thing on top, which is where the sound comes from. We get a projection from the resonation back here, and this thing actually is a drum head. It's made by Remo, who makes drum heads, and they also make banjo covers. So you were right on when you said that. Banjo is usually used in bluegrass music. There's a band popular right now called Mumford & Sons. They use banjo a lot, and I wouldn't exactly call them bluegrass, but predominantly a bluegrass instrument. And I had trouble getting this thing in tune. So let's see if we can play it and make it sound good. That doesn't sound good at all. There's our troublemaker. You might have to skip the banjo. It doesn't seem to want to stay in tune. Nope, we're going to have to bag the banjo. But you guys know what a banjo sounds like now, all right? I'd like to thank Guitar Center up in Arlington Heights. They lent me the banjo and they lent me the mandolin. I do guitar lessons over there once a month. I got 2 coming up right around Christmas break that I do for free at the store. If anybody wants to come, you can use a guitar at the store. Don't even have to own a guitar. And you can come in, I'll show you how to play something. Go ahead. Your dad has 6 guitars? But it's what? It's broken. Oh, that's too bad. Yeah, neat. How about you? You got something?
My brother goes to Guitar Center.
Yeah? That's a great story. They're really friendly people over there. They help you out with stuff. And yeah, so if anybody's interested, maybe get in touch with Mrs. Story, or have your parents, obviously have your parents get in touch with Mrs. Story. And maybe we could get you playing one of these instruments. Anyway, this is a mandolin, also usually bluegrass, but a lot of Irish music has it. And I kind of imagine others as well. I never really played this before, but I thought, you know what? I bet I could figure something out. So what I did was I figured out Deck the Halls, which some of you probably heard when you first got here. But I'm not a professional mandolin player. Don't try this at home. Santa hat, I recognize you. How are we doing time-wise?
About 6 more minutes.
Oh, we have extra time. How about that for- All right, well, this is Carl. Carl's going to play something on the electric guitar for you.
Oh.
He's gonna be good at this.
Yeah, he's really good. I hope.
We're all ourselves.
I think you're a big standard. I think you always do a guitar solo.
Oh, the like.
Just one.
Yeah, it's just one song.
Okay.
Yeah, like, are you talking about?
Come some. So there's another way you can play the guitar. How long ago did you come with me? 3 years ago, 4 years ago? 3 or 4 years ago? So Carl came to me, he knew a little bit. I taught him a little bit, and then he taught himself a lot. So he's been a student of mine off and on for years, and actually we spend a lot of time now writing our own songs, or he writes songs and I help contribute to the process. What else could we do? We got anything else in mind? Boy, what could we do? There's so many songs. Oh, you know, there's some other things you can do on the guitar. There's things called hammer-ons. Hammer-on, sort of like the other Beatles thing. You guys know the words to Jingle Bell Rock? You guys want to try that? Yeah, I heard some of you singing along a little bit when we did it before. I guess we could try doing that whole song. That's the one. Let's try that.
It's time.
Do we have time?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Thank you for singing. Thank you for coming. Do we have any time for questions?
We might, but before we ask a question, play us something real jazzy, something that's your favorite wild thing.
My favorite jazz song?
Any style, but your favorite thing.
Something back. Punk back.
Oh, I figured out something yesterday. You guys will like this. This, I don't know if this is my favorite, but this is something we can do. We're going to sing Oh Christmas Tree, but we're going to do it really green. Like that. Come on, help me. I don't know where it goes from there. How about, what could we do? I don't know, there's so many songs in my heart. It's hard to straighten them all out. Oh, the,
Stevie Ray.
yeah, right. How about, that was Ain't Misbehaving, sort of.
I think we got time for maybe 3 questions.
3 questions. And the question has to be questions. You just can't tell me someone's got a guitar, because that would go on forever and ever. Okay, who's got a question? You go.
How do you know which note to play?
Great question.
Practice, practice, practice. They're all a little bit different. If you just play one instrument, you kind of get to know where all the notes are. If you play different instruments, you gotta think quick. So it takes practice. Go ahead.
How did he know how to play the guitar and how did you know how to play the guitar?
I took guitar lessons. I teach guitar lessons now, but I took guitar lessons when I
How
started.
did he do it too?
Well, I started in 4th grade, and then I went to college, and I graduated with a music degree. So I studied for a long time, but I've been teaching for a long time. So,
And you were teaching him?
huh?
You were teaching him?
I taught him for, yeah. And then he does a lot of work on his own. Right? So how did you first start?
Well, I started out by really liking Slash, but when I got really
He's a guitar player, if you don't know.
When I got really into music, I started liking John Mayer. That's when I started focusing on like the entire song instead of listening to it. That's when I started taking
Yeah.
Were you in a rock and roll band?
Katie, can you get
I've been in lots of rock and roll bands. I'm not in any right now.
Keith?
You played any rock and roll bands? No? Go ahead, you're right.
What's your favorite song to play on the guitar?
It's a hard question to answer. It varies from minute to minute.
What's this?
I don't know. What's your favorite? Specific.
Maybe So Real.
What's it called?
So Real by Jeff Buckley.
Jeff Buckley. Yeah, he's got a good record shirt. He's representing Jeff Buckley today. Okay, one last question. Who's got a good one? Go ahead.
What's your favorite guitar?
Once again, I can't really answer that question without making one of my guitars mad at me. So I try not to do that. But it all depends on what I'm playing and who I'm playing
Is
with.
the banjo good at you?
The banjo, you know, I borrowed that yesterday. We didn't get it set up properly. I thought I had it tuned up this morning, but it doesn't seem to want to stay in tune. So I'm going to tune it again for the next one, and hopefully it'll behave itself.
Well, let's have a round of applause.
I'd like to thank the school for letting me do this. Mrs. Story, of course, for having us over here, and thank all you guys. And I want to thank Guitar Center for lending me the equipment and all that stuff. Like I said, free guitar lessons coming up during winter break. So if you're interested, have your parents talk to Mrs. Story. We can set something up where you guys can come on over there. And have a good Christmas holiday and Hanukkah and all that good stuff, okay?
Thank you, Carl, for playing for us.
Yeah, well, thanks Carl for coming and helping out too. He's on my thank you list. I should read it.
Katie, Katie.
guys are really lucky to have Mrs. Bullwinkle. You should realize that.
Turn and look this way, please. If you